This is Hannibal from the HannibalTV.com, back for my weekly review of the points in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. There's tons more stuff in there that I don't find interesting, that I don't cover for people that still want to read it. If you want to know more about the Japanese and Mexican stuff, which I have little or no interest in, I suggest you order it. And before I get into the Wrestling Observer news, I just did a report that Meltzer is reporting that the 73-year-old Ric Flair is seriously training to get back in the ring. So that's a little bonus to the Wrestling Observer review this week. But the big news of the Wrestling Observer, which is why I put the picture of Roman Reigns at a SmackDown event here in Ottawa back when I was doing security for the arena as the cover to this, is because, according to Meltzer, he has signed a new agreement with the company that includes cutting way back on his appearances. We don't know his exact schedule, but apparently he's going to work less television dates, may not be doing any house shows, and if so, very few, and won't be at every pay-per-view any longer. Apparently, he only agreed to do the major pay-per-view shows, stadium shows, and Saudi Arabia shows. Of course, those Saudi Arabia shows pay huge money. Apparently, the deal will just be, it's still unclear the exact details of it, but you're going to see him a lot less, and he has the money and the power right now to do what he wants. And apparently his body is hurting after all these years in the ring, and he has kids and doesn't need to work a full-time schedule anymore. However, he's apparently not planning on leaving anytime soon, but would like to do more acting work. As I've already reported on a lot on this channel, but I'll sum it up again here as part of the Wrestling Observer review, that the 49-year-old WWE Hall of Famer Sonny was arrested May the 6th by the Ormond Beach, Florida Police Department for driving under the influence when she fatally crashed into a man and killed him, and her blood alcohol level was 3.5 times the legal amount. She was charged with one count of causing the death of the man, DUI manslaughter, one count of operating a vehicle while having a license revoked, 4 counts of DUI causing injury to a person, because she did injure more than the guy that was killed. There's others involved in the crash, and 3 counts of DUI causing damage to property. She was held on a $227,500 bail and released the next day, when her boyfriend, James Penty, who is involved in a lawsuit that the victim's family is suing her and her boyfriend for the death of the father in the car crash. Apparently, he put up his property as collateral for the bail bonds company to get her out. However, today, a judge ruled that she should be back in prison for the safety of society. So she has had her bond revoked at this point. Bill DeMott, the controversial former WWE NXT trainer and WWE developmental head trainer, he had a kid that was killed in a DUI-related accident, and he's pushing for Sonny to be removed from the WWE Hall of Fame. To my knowledge, the only person they ever removed was Hulk Hogan for saying the N-word, but they put him back in later on. Sonny apparently responded to Bill DeMott on Twitter saying, quote, "I think Bill DeMott should be removed from the WWE Hall of Fame. Oh, that's right. He was never inducted. He was too busy sexually harassing female talent and degrading male talent as well. Yet he is worried about a crime that has not even been proven in a court of law yet," end quote. So Sonny lashing out on Twitter at Bill DeMott, who's certainly been full of controversy over the years, some of which I've witnessed myself, including a bizarre naked donut stink face incident involving Luke Gallows repeatedly shoving his ass in Zack Ryder's face, as well as Melissa Coates' face, while squishing jelly donuts on their faces, which apparently Zack Ryder liked because he was smiling about it, and I guess he would rather do that than actually train to wrestle. So to each their own. If you'd rather get a man's ass rubbed in your face than wrestle, if that tickles your boat or tickles your fancy, go for it. I think I'd do about anything not to get a man's ass rubbed in my face. Former pro wrestler Ted DiBiase and his two sons are among 38 individuals who are being sued by the Mississippi Department of Human Services about welfare fraud. The 68-year-old WWE Hall of Famer was sued for $1,971,223 for taking funds through his Heart of David Ministries that were supposed to go to the poor, and apparently using them for personal means. Ted Jr., 39, was sued for $2,897,487, and Brett DiBiase, 34, was sued for $824,258. At one point, Ted Jr. was being pushed by WWE, and then they dropped the push, and he quickly faded away. And Brett was apparently in developmental and on the main roster for a brief period of time around 2011. I do remember Ted Jr. I don't remember Brett at all. Big E, who broke his neck not too long ago, or fractured a C1 vertebrae, is not healing as fast as they had anticipated. He's going to be in a neck brace for another 4 to 6 weeks, and hope that he can avoid neck fusion surgery. Apparently, he could be out for a year to 15 months. Rey Mysterio Jr. has had more stem cell treatments recently. The Young Rock has been picked up for another season. Candice LeRae, 36, had her contract expire. I've heard the name, but I don't really remember her. Natalya, last appearance in NXT was this week. Apparently, they brought her in with the idea to tell a story with Corey Jade, who they want to push because they think Cora Jade will help draw the younger boys and men. Of course, it didn't really lead to any ratings, as the ratings have been way down lately. Dynamite only did a NXT only did a 0.1 this week, which was their lowest rating ever. And Rampage did a 0.11, just barely beating out NXT. Apparently, AEW's parent station, Warner Discovery, has really been hyping AEW during the NBA and NHL playoff games on TNT and TBS, but it hasn't amounted to much extra ratings. Dynamite only did a 0.33 rating. It was taped at the UBS Arena in Long Island, had 8,000 paid in attendance, which was the largest crowd for an AEW TV taping so far in 2022. WWE had its final episode of the Evil series on May the 10th. It featured The Miz. Only did a 0.04 rating. Pretty terrible. Not surprising, it was about The Miz. Raw did a 0.44 rating this week. They were out of the 0.3s. Was recorded in Hartford, Connecticut in front of 6,300 paid. SmackDown last week did a 0.46, also out of the 0.3s, so up a little bit. Was recorded at the Nassau Coliseum in front of 6,700 paid. Apparently, Bret Hart has said he wants to be remembered as a wrestler and doesn't have any interest this time to appear in AEW. The controversial Tessa Blanchard is apparently done with the Women of Wrestling, who were recording tapings recently, and apparently she was not getting along with people, and appears she's out of the company. There's a new book out regarding the British Bulldogs by Stephen Bell called The Explosive Lives of the British Bulldogs. I am going to be interviewing the author of that once the book is actually released to the public. UFC had a huge show in Phoenix for UFC 274. Phoenix, of course, where I want to reside one day. They had 17,232 fans in attendance with a gate of 6.13 million, with a median ticket price of around $383, which is very high. The show had 400,000 pay-per-view buys in the U.S. The prelims on ESPN did a 0.2. Daniel Cormier is going in to the UFC Hall of Fame. Congratulations to him. Great fighter. Was never a huge pay-per-view draw, but was a good fighter.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please help me out and like this video, then click the subscribe and get notifications buttons so you don't miss any of my latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Follow us on Facebook at The Hannibal TV for more live streams and videos. And while you're at it, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at The